Football fans, thank you for tuning back in to Tim and Shim. We're on episode 6 of the 2018 season. Got a couple more episodes before we're finally going to get our feet wet with the actual season. I can't wait. I'm stoked. I'm ready to do some parlays, ready to do some daily fantasy, ready to do some fantasy in general. Tim, brother, how's it going today, dude?
Oh, man, so far, so good. All right. Waiting for the season to start. I know there's a lot of great news that's been going on, especially with your New York Football Giants. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
As a Dallas Cowboy fan myself, I was shocked, but then I was like, damn. But it is what it is. I have to pay for it next week. We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can get right into the sidebar here. What do we got going? Didn't have these up already. That's my bad. We're going to start off on the first subject like you were just talking about, Odell's big payday. This was kind of interesting too, Tim, because it came at a different rate than what most players do when they feel they're wanting a bigger payday or wanting a contract extension. A lot of players, they ended up holding out, the Le'Veon Bell method or the Khalil Mack method that we're going through right now.
Right.
This guy, he showed up. Is he kind of turning a new page in a sense with the NFL and how to, go about getting your contract extension if you want to get a big payday with your team?
Right.
Is that something that he might be changing himself? Show up to practice, show that you're, for the company or the organization, kind of, be the best man that you can be in that position and, dress for the job that you want type of ordeal. I wonder if we'll see that, take effect into players in the future, the younger generation. That should be interesting. But yeah, like you said, good job to the Giants. They actually freed up some cap space. They were at the bottom of the league. They had less than $1 million in cap space, and now that they kind of gave him this huge payday, it kind of restructured the cap space for this year. So the Giants now actually have $7 million cap space. And as a Giants fan, I'm a little optimistic because now we're going to go into the round of cuts soon where there's going to be some serviceable tackles like from Jacksonville or from Denver. I know my man James Cooper was talking about earlier that could get cut, and they could be serviceable depth in case there's any issues over there with, God forbid, Eric Flowers again or even Patrick Omameh at the guard position. But yeah, your thoughts, Tim, on the big payday?
I mean, I will say this. Shim, a long time ago, when the New York Giants and our old show, Football Fury, that's a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
I have to say I was the only one who has said Odell Beckham Jr. was the best wide receiver in football. That was 2005 after his first season. I was saying, Odell reminds me of a faster Jerry Rice. He's the most talented wide receiver to come out since Randy Moss. That's my opinion, but have I been wrong? Not at all. Because, guys like Antonio Brown, they're 30 years old. Those are guys who end up late in their career. Odell started right in the beginning of his career. Of course, respect a guy like Hopkins, Julio Jones. I mentioned Antonio Brown. In my opinion, I believe Odell Beckham Jr. is the best wide receiver in football. And I'm going to continue to say that until somebody else comes along and shows me any different. And I'm a Cowboy fan. It's so hard for me to admit that, but it's the truth. Now, the payday, business-wise, fans, he's the most popular fan in America, North America, South America, probably even Korea. Who knows? Everybody loves Odell Beckham Jr. The haircuts. Look at the haircuts our generation the young kids are having. The same style he has.
Yeah.
I have to wear one next week, so we'll talk about that later on. But Odell Beckham Jr. is the guy. My question only is, what are the Giants going to do next season with upcoming free agents like Landon Collins and things like that? Show up their offensive line. Are they going to count on only NFL draft picks? Can they make moves? But see, I'm gonna start a whole new trend here. It's called James Cooper Bean or Bean James Cooper. James Cooper's Magic Beans. That's his thing.
Or we could just do Coop and the Beanstalk. How about that?
I love that. Jim, I love that. Yeah. Cooper and the Beanstalk. I love that. If James Cooper's watching, that's it. Cooper and the Beanstalk. James Cooper came out with an article, sharing an article with 2MW. I was one. Stephen Frogman, the objectively biased one, was one who shut it down and laughed at it. He said the Giants have it to pay him. How? With $5 million cap space? Watch the magic beans. And guess what? He planted it. It grew. Odell Beckham Jr. is signed. I still want to see. I'm not going to judge Mr. James Cooper no more and say they can't do this because they proved me wrong the first time. But I still want to. I can't wait to see how they keep other guys like Landon Collins and that squad. But this is about Odell Beckham Jr. today, and I'm gonna keep it that way. And congratulations, the Giants. The Giants. You know what? Another thing, the Giants broke tradition. All right, Shim. They broke tradition. In the history,
true.
All have said they would never sign a wide receiver to a big contract. They did. So going forward, we can no longer say they will not do that because they don't usually do that. They broke it. They broke the ice.
Yeah, they've never had a wide receiver this magnitude in their history. Being around for almost 100 years, that's kind of crazy to think. But yeah, they've never had reason to be in this position before. So it's very unique for both sides right now. It's kind of surreal being a Giants fan. I'm used to not having those kind of higher tier players. That's always in the limelight or always on ESPN. Blah blah blah. But should be exciting. And like I said, Dave Gettleman's already working some salary cap magic. It'll be interesting to see what he does next year because he could get off a couple of those big names. We've seen Dave how he does it in Carolina. He's not loyal to those veterans. He don't give a damn if you're taking up too much money and you're not, being serviceable.
Hey, you know what, Shim? That was one of the things that was said all along. Carolina Panthers fans, I believe Twin W brother Waller, and I was like, nah, he won't do this because in Carolina he tried to get rid of Olsen, Kuechly. Look at Steve Smith. So again,
I can see your point on that.
I can see, but you know what? But again, no longer going forward, we can say those things because now they can say this. Don't say never because he may do it. He's gonna do what he feel like he want to do, and he did this. Listen, you know what? Jerry Reese and McAdoo have to be somewhere drinking some pina coladas. Like, damn, this guy made an impact. Not even a full season, not even a season yet. This guy has made moves that was 5 times better than any move the Giants made in the past 5 years.
No shit. Yeah, you're not even lying. I mean, it's abysmal when you look at the track history from Reese and then what we actually have left on the team from his regime for the most part. The only thing we can really thank Reese for at this point is probably Odell, Landon Collins, and I don't know. Maybe we can give him credit for bringing in Snacks too. But other than that, we'll have to see. But yeah, like I said, DG's already proven to be pretty good so far in his first 6 months or so already. So round of applause for him, and I know you as a Cowboy fan, you can't stand it because you're one that's been wanting to get rid of Garrett and shit for some time. So I know you. It seems like the Cowboys, the power rankings for a little bit. It's been like this, Cowboys, Giants here, and now it's kind of like the power might be shifting just a bit.
Jim, listen, as non-Giant fans, we was, I was one. Hey, they only got $2 million cap space, $5 million cap space. How are they gonna make that move? Damn it! My Dallas Cowboys have $14 million cap space, and I'm still waiting on number 29, the free safety, to join the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, damn it! Can we have some magic beans? I want some magic beans. I want to get an impact guy. It's been a long overdue. I mean, guys like Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Earl Thomas, who are free, are not overrated guys. These guys are impact players, Shim. Impact players. So the Giants just put everybody on notice and say, hey, we can have 50 Cent and we're going to make a splash. And that's what they did. They did what they had to do to pay Odell Beckham Jr. with that much cap space, and everybody's happy. Now, as a Cowboy fan, you have to be aware of this team. This is a young coming up team with Odell, Ingram, Barkley, Sterling Shepard. You cannot tell me that that's not an impressive offensive squad right there if Eli's protected. Odell's happy. When Odell's happy, everything is pretty good.
Let's get into the next topic though, because this one intrigues me quite a bit with Hue Jackson, and he said some comments about he plans on giving Baker Mayfield quite a bit of playing time in this last preseason game. Ooh, see, this is where the shit, you're watching Hard Knocks and it's like, damn, I'm in your goddamn corner right now. Like, you say all the right things, you're doing all the right things, and then some people are not in your corner thinking you're more of just a personable guy. You're not really a coach. You're just a hoorah. I know how to talk to you. I'm a humanitarian type of person, but don't do this shit, Hugh. This is the shit that makes you the Hue Jackson in most people's eyes. Why are you going to play your first round pick in a significant amount of time in the last game of the meaningless exhibition game, or a glorified practice, as I like to call them? This is so stupid. You just saw what almost happened to Tyrod Taylor. It looked like he almost either broke his pinky, broke his wrist, sprained, it's not worth it. I mean, Baker's already developing well ahead of schedule, it looks like. Just watching him against the past couple of teams, especially the Giants, pinpoint throws right over the secondary or right over the linebacker corp to get it right into his receiver's pocket. I mean, he looks great. I don't think there's any reason to play him for an additional 25, 30 minutes in a glorified practice to say, okay, now you're ready to hold the clipboard for a few weeks behind Tyrod Taylor while you watch some regular NFL games. No, just have him sit, watch. If you're not really planning on playing him, there's no reason, Tim. I don't understand this move. Right. I get trying to get him experience, but nah.
I mean, Shim, I'm going to say this. Baker Mayfield. Listen, we went back talking about who was your favorite quarterback in the NFL draft. I know you was the one talking about Baker Mayfield at first. You know, he reminding you of a guy like Phillip Rivers. And, when I see that, how he is, I'm like, yo, this is the kind of guy I want. And it was noted that the Giants wanted this guy if the Browns did not draft him. Right. But we all know, Shim, he's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. He needs more time. Tyrod Taylor, in my opinion, can lead the Cleveland Browns to a playoff game. In my opinion, he's the missing piece, which is needed. And when you have an offseason where you're able to bring in guys like Jarvis Landry, Josh Gordon, hopefully he comes back from his issues. The drafting of Njoku at tight end. You have a good running back with Hyde, Nick Chubb. And you got Tyrod Taylor, a veteran quarterback who led the Buffalo Bills to the playoff with no help, really no help. Okay, not disrespecting LaShawn McCoy, but come on, Tyrod Taylor carried that team. No, keep him where he's at. He need to sit down, let him learn. Do not rush him. Tyrod Taylor can help save Hue Jackson's job at that. You understand what I'm saying? Because Dorsey, I believe, will fire Hue Jackson if for some reason they have a bad season. He will fire him, even though it's not Hue Jackson's fault the first 2 years. But let's keep this real.
Yeah, Dorsey would take off his sweatshirt, then he would start unbuttoning his little polo underneath. He would want to bear fisticuffs with Hue Jackson, I'm sure, in that meeting room. Let's move it on, though. The Tyrod's X team. We're talking about the Buffalo Bills and what they're going to be doing in week 1, because there's still some controversy going on here, Timmy. Whoo-wee! Josh Allen, he looks good, don't he? He looks good in the...
Yes, he is.
Are you sure? Because I don't even think Buffalo Bills know if they're ready for Josh Allen to start. There's some controversy going on, Tim. He even face planted on Sunday, I believe it was, and I think he's in the concussion protocol. That offensive line, I don't know, man. It's going to be a little shaky this year. There's huge question marks right now surrounding that team's offensive line. Are you willing to put Josh Allen, your first round investment, in there already? When see, let's look at it from this standpoint. Do you feel the Buffalo Bills are a playoff-ready team right now? I don't, Tim. I don't know. That's how I feel, Tim.
Shim,
That's so
come on,
in my
Shim.
eyes, Tim.
Shim.
Coach, I'm starting Nathan Peterman. I'm sorry.
Shim.
I'm starting Peterman.
Shit, listen, I want to say, Hobbs, you know I love you, brother. You know I respect the hell out of you. You know you're a big time Buffalo Bills fan, but I'm gonna say this. He's not Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz didn't even have a good rookie year. You know, it was a second year, so let's pump the brakes a little bit, and let's not think that yet. He hasn't done anything yet. You know, if he starts 5 weeks of football and he's doing damage, okay, what has he done in preseason? I mean, Lamar Jackson is having a better preseason than Josh Allen, and Lamar's not even doing a lot. He's not. I'm sorry. No. Listen, Buffalo right now, again, is rebuilding. Is rebuilding.
Yeah, that's my whole argument. They are. I mean, I get the whole he's got to get better. He's got to grind out in real games. But this dude got a concussion in a preseason game behind that offensive line against people that are probably going to be ended up working at, you know, Enterprise or some corporation after this is all said and done this summer. It's not very it's very disheartening to know that that's what he's behind, you know, and I wouldn't be, as a GM or as an owner, that could set you back 4 or 5 years losing out on your, if something critically happened to him, you know, ACL, MCL, whatever. And he, man, that's critical, especially with how much he really does have to learn and get better too. But I don't know if I'm ready to throw that raw product out. That would be kind of like taking DeShone Kizer and putting him out there like he was last year with the Browns. It's just not going to equal a good solution at all, or a good end result. So who would you start? Would you start Peterman or would you start McCarron? Or are you saying throw Allen to the Wolves?
I mean, Shim. Okay, we have Josh Allen, rookie, not ready. All right, off. Excuse me. Go sit over there. Nathan Peterman, San Diego Chargers. We remember. Go over there. AJ. You know what I think about AJ? When I think about a name like AJ, I'm thinking about AJ Styles from WWE. AJ Styles is great. One of my favorite wrestlers. So AJ McCarron, playoffs. He's been to the
Oh my goodness.
Listen, I was a fan of him in college for Alabama. He's used to winning. I mean, Shim, it's just, I'm not saying he's a big time quarterback, but between Allen, who's not rookie, Peterman, yeah, San Diego. And I mean, let's keep it real. You got to go with AJ McCarron. Why pay money for a veteran quarterback to draft a rookie and draft another rookie from last year? It made no sense. This is the same GM. They're the same GM who called for Tyrod Taylor to be benched against San Diego for no reason during a playoff race to start Nathan Peterman, and Peterman sucked. He really did suck. So
you're gonna hold that one game against him for the rest of his life, aren't you, Tim? For the rest of his life. That poor guy. AJ McCarron, there's a reason he's behind Nathan Peterman on the depth chart. AJ McCarron. This guy's had his chances. He's been from team to team. If he had something redeemable, they would have held on to him. It looks like it's time for take it or leave it, though, Tim, because I'm fired up and I'm ready to get into this crap. Starting with the NFC South tonight. All right, we got the NFC South and then the NFC West next week to clean it up. I like that. And we're going to start off with the New Orleans Saints. First one is Drew Brizzle. Is he going to retire after this season, Tim? And I'm saying absolutely not, Tim, because he's actually signed through 2019, and I believe he'll play out despite turning 40 on January 15th. He's still got some playing time left in him. His deep ball still looked damn good, and he just had a 72 completion percentage this past season, Tim. That's the best mark of his career for a single season. Breeze has also been blessed with Kamara in the backfield to pair with Ingram, which is going to help alleviate attempts during the game. So that's going to save arm strength for the big plays when Breeze really needs it. Tim, this guy's got another good 2 to 3 years under his belt at least. I'm leaving it, absolutely.
Jim, I'm taking it. I'm sorry. Yeah, Shim. This is just me. How old is he again?
Turning 40 in January.
Turning 40 in January. Well, the new NFL rule. You know what, Shim? Can I take it back?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. With that new crappy NFL rule, I mean, we saw a penalty where you got tackled the right way and it was roughing the passer for 15 yards. Basically, this is the new LeBron James, Michael Jordan rule in the NFL. Don't trust the quarterbacks, meaning you're gonna extend quarterbacks' careers. So I'm leaving it, Shim. Drew Brees will not retire after this season. I think the NFL is like, damn, Drew Brees is getting older, Aaron Rodgers is getting older, and we don't like what's coming behind them. So let's keep them here long enough. They're still a big name. So I'm leaving, Shim. I'm agreeing with you.
Baby. All right. Michael Thomas. Will he have 105 receptions this season? He will absolutely get 105 plus receptions this year, Tim. And I say that because there's absolutely no reason we should really see his 149 targets dip down too much, if it does at all. Meredith hasn't been impressing at all this preseason, and there's some legitimate concern there. Outside of Ted Ginn, there's going to be a big need in third rounder, Traquan Smith, to possibly step up in that third slot if Meredith is unable to prove up to be living up to expectations. So also, Michael Thomas's catch percentage was 76 in his rookie season, and that dipped down last year to 69.8. We'll round that off to 70. That's almost, a whole 6% from his catch percentage. So he's going to get that back up. I have all the faith in Michael Thomas. He's one of the most talented in the league, underrated for being in the New Orleans market, not talked about as much as the other high-tier receivers. He's going to get that catch percentage back on track, and that'll most certainly ensure that he sees that 105-plus reception mark. Take it.
Shim, why not? I'm taking it too. 106 receptions. There you go. This is Michael Thomas. It baffles me, and I give credit to Stephen Fogmeg and Mr. Brian E. NFL 360. Especially Dulla, Mr. Cal, aka Cal Green. You got to give them props because I remember them saying this guy sleeper Ohio State, but he was picked number in the late 20s. I mean, from the seasons this man has given the New Orleans Saints, you would have thought that he should be like a top 5 draft pick for receiver, But
47th overall.
Yeah, 47. I mean, wow, look at that, second round. So, Listen, this guy's been incredible, and as long as the New Orleans Saints have Drew Brees throwing the ball, and he's making these catches, playoff contention. And 106, 107, maybe 100.
Make it 120, right?
121. I'll be taking that. 121.
118.
119.
I like that. Let's sold. Alvin Kamara, will he have 1,700 yards from scrimmage in 2018? Yes. Tim, same reason that I just used in the last example with Michael Thomas. There isn't a lot to the wide receiver corp in New Orleans unless someone steps up and makes it solid. Not a lot of people remembered last year with Kamara that he only started 3 games despite playing in all 16. But now with Ingram out of the fold for 4 of those games, Kamara is going to have a bulk of those carries and targets when it comes to the backfield for those first 4 weeks. Even when Ingram is back in the mix, we saw how much Brees loved having Kamara in the back. It showed in his 81 receptions as a rookie, while also picking up 728 rushing yards on the 120 attempts that he had. I honestly don't expect him to replicate that 6.1 yards per carry he had last year, but I fully expect him to get 1,700 plus from scrimmage with the increased opportunities he'll have in that offense and having the familiarity of it under his belt now after a year. I'll take it. Absolutely.
Shim, fantasy purposes. Now we have a certain his backup running back missing the first 4 weeks of the season, right?
Yes,
Whew. I'm taking it. Listen, Alvin Kamara is the truth. Another player the New Orleans Saints drafted so late. And, I mean, he was incredible last year. I mean, Shim, Is he a top 5 running back already?
I mean, fantasy-wise, he is, but you know how the people in our group like to proclaim they'll carry their torches and pitchforks and say, he needs consistency. He's only done it 1 year. He needs consistency.
All right, so you know what?
Yeah,
I will revisit that next time. But yes, the man's the truth. And again, with Drew Brees, Michael Thomas there, I can see it happening.
But I will agree with you, fantasy-wise, I don't think there's any doubt that he's got to be top 5, 6. 6 is probably the lowest I would put him in that ranking for this year, especially being in a PPR league. Whew! I got him in 1 league already out of the 2 that I drafted for so far. I'm pumped. Let's get it, Alvin. Alvin in the Chipmunks. But we got Mark Ingram that we were just talking about. Let's talk about him going over 1,000 yards from scrimmage with those 4 games missed, Timmy. I'm going to say, yes, he will. I know the Saints are enamored with Kamara, but this is still their bowl of a running back that they're still going to see and use him for around that 200 rushing attempts mark. It seems like a lot, but if you go back and look at his stats, you'll see that he's on that trajectory even with missing 4 games. He's never been reliable. In his 7 seasons with the Saints, he's actually played a full 16 games just 3 damn times, Tim. 3. And he's never started for a full 16. Despite that, each of the past 4 years, he's managed to garner 1,100 plus scrimmage yards. And he'll be missing another 4 games at least to start the season this year. And it doesn't really seem to put his 1,000 yards from scrimmage into jeopardy. So 1,100 for the past 4 seasons. Yeah, why can't he do it again? He's used to missing these games. I'll take it, Tim.
Shame. What against suspended? Nah. Not Shim. I'm not taking it. I believe a guy like Shane Ring will take over some of those scrimmage yards from Mark Ingram.
Ooh.
Yes. Mark Ingram, he's a thumper. I believe, just in my opinion, the Saints should have just traded him. I mean, I don't know if he's accepted his role as that number 2 back. I'm not confident he is. I like Shane Ring. Shane Ring will get a lot in the passing game. We saw what the young man did with the New England Patriots when given the chance, and you need that in the NFL. Don't get me wrong, you need guys like Mark Ingram as well to pound it in, stuff like that. But over 1,000 yards from scrimmage, I don't see it happening. I think Shane Ring will cut into that. So I'm leaving it.
That wraps it up for the Saints. We're going to bring it down to the next team in the South. That is the Carolina Panthers. And our first boy up for action is Christian McCaffrey. Will he have 1,500 scrimmage yards, Tim? Now, McCaffrey only saw 117 rushes in his rookie campaign, and he should be let off the leash a bit more in his sophomore year. The Panthers don't have much of a choice either. They let go of the aging Jonathan Stewart to come plague my Giants with his AARP card, and they brought in C.J. Anderson, who shouldn't be much of a threat to steal many reps from McCaffrey in the rushing game, Tim, in my opinion. I would like to think that McCaffrey can get up to the 200, 220 mark for carries while still maintaining close to the 70 receptions he had in his rookie campaign. But I honestly think we see him finish right around the 1,350-yard from scrimmage mark this season and doesn't quite get it, Tim. I'm going to leave it, to be honest.
You know what, Shim? Last season, he was running, receiving, playing special teams. I loved it. But now what I'm seeing is that he bulked up. They're trying to make him to that running back where pound is that's not his game. It's not his game. So I'm agreeing with you, Shim, and I'm leaving him. He would not have 1,500 yards from scrimmage. I think they're gonna make him do too much. In my opinion. And who's the other running back? C.J. Anderson? I mean,
they got rid of Jonathan Stewart to bring in C.J. Looks like he ate too many hostesses. Anderson, yeah.
Right. So, in my opinion with that, for me, the best thing to do is don't fix what's not broken. The way they used Christian McCaffrey last season was great. Take a page from the New Orleans Saints, what they're doing with Alvin Kamara and Ingram and now Shane Vereen. This kid McCaffrey, in my opinion, they're gonna make him do too much. So I don't think it's a good fit for him the way they're using him now. Oh, preparing to use him.
It's one of my favorite sayings. Don't fix what's not broke.
Nah,
all the time. Greg Olsen, though, he returns to his 1,000-yard receiving format after injury, Tim. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, Tim. Greg Olsen was on a very odd trajectory last year before he went down with injury. It's hard to grasp, but in seasons 2014 through 2016, Olsen had receiving yards of 1,008, 1,104, and then 1,073. Last season, in the 7 games he played, he had 17 receptions on 38 targets. Not good. For only 191 yards and 1 score. That's only a catch percentage of 44.7. In those 1,000-yard seasons Olsen was having about 63 to 69 yards per game on average. So in those 7 games last year, his rate was about 27 yards a game. It's not good at all. I think Olsen is being heavily overdrafted for his comeback season this year, Tim, and he's going to disappoint quite a few fantasy owners. They also snagged DJ Moore out of Maryland, and we should see quite a decent wide receiver core for Cam to deal with this season if his accuracy is in check. I mean, it's not going to be anything to glamour at, but you should get stuff done with DJ Moore, Devin Funchess, and Torrey Smith over there. So for this, I'm actually going to leave it, Tim. He does not get back to 1,000 yards.
Shim, you know, hey, Mr. Greg Olsen, I listen, I respect your career. I remember when you was drafted to the Chicago Bears, and you know, Mr. Olsen, people thought you wasn't very good until you went to Carolina and you proved everybody wrong. But see, this time,
right?
I don't believe Mr. Olsen will have 1,000 yards receiving at all. I believe, you know, Shim, Mr. Olsen could join Jason Witten, you know, at Monday Night Football, you know, this next season. I'm just being no disrespect. There's a guy named Mr. Funchess who's shown he's the guy in Carolina. When Mr. Olsen went down last season. So no.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying I'm a fan of Mr. Funchess.
No, I'm saying that's the next one, silly. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. We'll bring it right into it, though, because that's who we're actually going to talk about is Devin Funchess. Is he actually going to read? I'll let you start this off, Tim. Is he going to lead all Carolina receivers in receiving yards this year?
No.
Oh.
No, he won't.
What?
No, he's not. Listen.
What?
No, he's not. Listen, the guy you was just talking about, Mr. DJ Moore, in my opinion, will.
Oh my God.
Mr. Moore, listen, no. I'm leaving.
Oh.
You would not. Listen, Devin Funchess is like a cool name. Reminds me of a potato chip bag or a candy bag. Oh, look at Mr. Funchess.
Mr. Funchess.
Mr. Funchess, you know, like a bag of potato chips. That's it. I mean,
like a candy bar. It's like bunches of Funchess.
Bunches of Funchess. There you go. I love that. I love that, Shim. I love that. So, like,
crunch.
Yeah, nah. I mean, listen. Again, it's like I was saying last segment. Funchess, you know, is the main guy. He will have more than Olsen, but I think overall, DJ Moore will be the favorite going forward. And getting all the targets. He's loved. He's probably the best wide receiver Carolina has ever had since Steve Smith. Muhammad.
Listen, Tim. Devin Funchess is going to lead them by default because Torrey Smith has never been a good catcher in his entire career.
On that team?
Torrey Smith, his catch percentage is always hovers around 47 to 53%. He's not a good receiver. He's decent, but on those long balls and those, you know, those over the shoulders and, you know, all those trick, you know, catches that he should be having, he's not getting those. He's more of a possession receiver, and that's about it. Samuel Curtis is there as a second rounder from last year, but I feel there's a reason Carolina used the first rounder on DJ Moore this year. It sounded like there was some serious need to address it immediately. I believe DJ Moore, like you're saying, I believe he's going to be a fantastic rookie. He's probably going to show flashes of like Stephon Diggs coming out of Maryland, you know, but he's not going to fare in the targets game over Funchess. Funchess has seen an increased role every year with the Panthers since being drafted by them in 2015. We'll probably see Funchess lead all receivers with his first 1,000-yard season. Take it, Tim. And you're going to learn to take it, too.
after my bag of bunches and Funches chips.
I hope it's like Crunch. That'd be a good candy bar. Bunches of Funches. It's like little
bunches of Funches.
Crunch balls or something with the real crispy snack. Oh, I like. It's one of my favorite candies.
With almond too.
Ooh, Almond Joy.
Ooh, almond joy.
I like coconut.
Almondy.
Julius Peppers, though, is he going to move to third in all-time sacks this year? He only needs 6. And Tim, we're definitely going to witness history this year because Julius Peppers has played 16 seasons so far in his career, and the only time he's had under 7 sacks in a single season was way back in 2007 when he only had 2.5. So for 15 years, Julius Pepper has had 7+ sacks in each of those years. That's damn incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible feat. And you're damn right he's doing it again this year. Yes, he's moving the third all-time in sacks. I'm taking it.
Well, Shem, before I answer, I want to shout out to the schedule. Cowboys week 1. Nah, he won't get no sack there. Okay, he go against Atlanta. Nah. Okay, the Bengals.
Oh, man, here we go.
I can see 1, the Bengals. The Giants. I can see maybe 2. That's 3 together. At the Redskins, I can see maybe 1. That's 4. Against the Eagles, oh, that's gonna be tough. Nah. Against Baltimore, it's tough. But I can always get rid of that ball too fast. Against the Buccaneers, that's tough. Against the Steelers.
That's a 2.5 sack game right there. That ends it. Yeah. Tim says, take it.
But you know what? You know what's funny? With this NFL rule, I'm just so scared that he makes a sack. Personal foul. What? Are you kidding me? That was a sack. Nah, all jokes aside, Jim, I'm taking it. Listen,
oh man,
Julius Peppers, I love his NFL career. He was the guy to show the whole NFL world how to stop Michael Vick. Okay, that was the reason why the Panthers drafted. They said, "Hey, this kid Michael Vick here is tearing it up. We need somebody to come in here and get this guy down." And he started. After him, Javon Curse. You know, everybody wanted a fast pass rusher. He was the beginning of defensive ends running a 4.4 in the 40. You know, now everybody wants. And I'm happy that he's up there. Listen, I hope he gets 10. I hope he gets 10. I hope he goes in the top. I mean, what's the all-time record?
That's a good question. I'll have to pull that up later. Okay. Just to make us all feel old just for a quick second before we get into Atlanta. I currently I just turned 30 last week, and Julius Peppers was drafted when I was still in middle school. Okay, moving on here. Yeah, 2002 he was drafted, and I was I think I was in 7th grade then. Yeah, pretty insane how long he has been playing in the league. Insane. It's just I can't fathom it. It's insane. And then you think about people like Tom Brady as well. It's just, holy whew.
Let me ask you a question, Shim. Were you sharing your snacks with everybody when he was drafted? Were you sharing during snack time?
I'll share you a real painful story of mine. I was so prideful in my Giants that back in that, I think it was 2002 or 2003, the wild card game between 49ers and Giants, when the Giants blew that 24-point lead or whatever it was, I still wore my Shockey jersey the next day to school, and I got berated in the halls so bad. I was so proud of my Giants, though. I didn't care, man. I was young, you know. I was a little biased kid, so that was fun getting berated. Yo, you still lost and you're wearing the Shockey jersey? That was a fun day. Let's get into it, though. Look like the Atlanta Falcons is next on the hot seat. Let's talk about them, Tim. We're going to bring up the first one. Atlanta will have a top 5 defense In terms of points allowed this year in the NFL, the Falcons had a quietly good season last year, Tim, where they ranked top 10 in both yards and points allowed for the first time since 1998, believe it or not. To be specific, they were 8th in points allowed and 9th in yards. The Falcons haven't been in top 10 for yards allowed since 98, but for points allowed, they were 5th in both 2010 and 2012. So their defenses have kind of been around there, in the past 5 years or so. There's going to be a lot of defenses to compete against, though, in terms of points allowed mark. And I'm thinking of teams like the Jaguars, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Ravens, Chargers, and Panthers. Those teams that are always keeping their opponents within like 20 or below in games. It's always pretty low scoring or pretty damn close in the end result. So I believe for points allowed, we actually see Atlanta finish around that 8 to 10 mark at best. So I'm going to leave it.
Sam, I agree with you. There will be a top 10, but not a top 5. Jacksonville, Minnesota. We got the Arizona Cardinals, the LA Chargers, Houston Texans. Hey, listen, another thing also is when they have an issue at quarterback with Jameis Winston missing the first 2 weeks. A defense, they can keep you in the game, but when your offense is not doing so much, they tend to just collapse. So no, I don't see it happening. I mean, I still believe they could be a top 10 defense, JPP, the new acquisition, but top 10, but not top 5. Even with points allowed.
Yeah, absolutely. Points allowed is a hard mark to make. Matt Ryan, though, will not throw for over 4,000 passing yards. Trick question, Tim. I'm going to leave it because he absolutely will throw for over 4,000 yards. He had a bit of an off year in terms of completion percentage with only 64.7 this past season, when he's usually in the 67 mark. And every year since 2012, he's thrown for over 4,500. And this past season, because of decreased pass attempts compared to previous seasons and the lower completion percentage, he just eclipsed the 4,000 mark with 4,095. So I think he will pick it back up in terms of getting back to the gunslinger we all know him to be, and will easily get over that 4,000 yard mark. We expect him to, as he always does, and he will throw for over 4,000. So in the trick question, I'm leaving it because he will throw for over.
Shim. He got Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Justin Hardy, and Calvin Ridley. Shim, that was my Atlanta Falcons wide receiver song. Okay,
I liked it.
Sorry, I didn't have the tunes for adding for the tight end and Hooper, or but I just had the wide receivers. Shim, I'm leaving it. He would throw over 4,000 yards. Listen, it's gonna happen. Atlanta Falcons might have the best wide receiver corps in the NFL, potentially, but top 5 definitely. And if also, I'm gonna say if, because Shanahan is no longer the offensive coordinator. They had a new one last year, and it wasn't too good. It didn't go so well. The offense was kind of like, what the hell are we gonna do? But they should. Calvin really is going to be something special for this offense. And if Julio stays healthy, my God, watch out.
Let's talk about him. Julio Jones will have over 6 touchdowns this year. You hear this question and you roll your eyes and exclaim, yeah, duh, it's Julio Jones. But in 7 years, Julio has only had more than 6 touchdowns just 3 times in his career. In 2011, he had 8. 2012, he had 10. And 2015, he had 8 again. But he's hit that 6 touchdown mark twice in 14 and 16. But for a perennial wide receiver, as Julio Jones is, a beast of a man who can see anywhere from 150 to 200 targets a year, you would easily think that he would smash this challenge. But I'll give Jones the benefit of the doubt this year in terms of touchdowns. I think Jones will hit that 8 touchdown mark again, like he did in 2011 and 15. I think he'll get back to that mark. So, Julio, I guess you're lucky I'm in a good mood. I'm gonna take it. I'll give you the over 6.
Shim, don't we have the best looking bears on the show?
I was just thinking. I got a little distracted on that question because, like,
yeah,
damn.
I mean, of course, hell yeah, Shim. Listen, especially when again, Odell Beckham Jr. did these guys did the wide receivers a favor in the NFL. He signed a big deal, so of course Julio is motivated. Hey, he got big money. I could get some big money. I got to score more than 6. I have to get over 1,000 yards. I got to go do something. Of course. Of course. I think Julio's going to have a very big year this season.
Tevin Coleman totals over 1,100 yards from scrimmage. Tevin actually saw a bit of an increased role the last season with Devontae. He missed a couple of games. But in that time, he didn't really capitalize too much, Tim, compared to his 2016 campaign. In that campaign, he averaged 4.4 yards a carry, had 421 receiving yards, and he totaled 941 yards from scrimmage. And then last season, was starting 3 games and having 38 more damn carries. He only averaged 4 a carry, and he only picked up 299 in the receiving department. And he only had 927 yards from scrimmage with seeing more field time. That doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. With Freeman back in the lineup for what should be a full 16 now, I don't think we see Coleman miraculously add another 200 yards to his game with now reduced snaps again, probably back to his 2016 campaign. I'm leaving it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tevin.
Woo. Shim. You know what, Shim? He may get 1,100 yards, but it won't be as an Atlanta Falcon. I predicted Mr. Tevin Coleman would get traded.
Ooh.
Last year of his contract, they drafted a running back named Edo Smith. Watch the name. Pardon me, it might be Ido or Edo. I know it's ITO.
I believe he's in your Madden Ultimate team as well.
Yes, I played Madden. when I used Mr. Ido/Edo, I was like, go ahead. Oh my God. Now, but all seriousness, they drafted this man for a reason. Tevin Coleman is a free agent coming up. He wants to get big bucks. I'm never going to see why would you just let a good player walk away for free. I think Mr. Coleman will get traded, but sticking with the question, I'm still going to leave it and say no, because Mr. Ido Smith will take some of those carries from him.
I wonder if he's going to do what Terod did, just let people call him Ido for like 10 years, and then he comes out, yeah, it's actually Ido, but I didn't really want to correct nobody.
I want to see him. Let me see something. Can I ask Siri?
Maybe it's Ito.
Ito?
Yeah.
Can I ask Siri? How do you get Siri?
Siri, how do you spell or pronounce ITO? Ido. Ido.
Siri, where you at? These damn iPhones.
We could bring it back into. We'll find out though. We'll get that towards the end of the show. Let's finish this off because we only got a few ticks left, and we got to finish off the Buccaneers here real quick. And this one, I'm sorry, cast. I'm sorry, audience. We had this produced before Jameis Winston decided to go ahead and get 3 games for his little Uber, Lyft, Waze, whatever public bus transportation incident he had. But unfortunately, we now know he's suspended for the first 3 games of the season for violating the personal conduct policy. So will he lead the Bucs to double-digit wins after his even after his suspension? In Winston's first 2 seasons where he started all 16 games, he only had wins of 6 and 9, Tim. In this prior season where he also just played 13 games, he only had 3 wins, Tim. Do you have much optimism in you that you think Jameis is going to miss another 3 games and also come back and turn this whole ship around to a 10-win season in the NFC South? Big ol' leave it from me. Big ol' leave it.
You know, Shim, when I was looking at this question, I was thinking about lobster roll. It's so delicious. It's it's crab meat and lobster meat in a roll. It's
a lot of butter.
Delicious. Oh my God! It's Jameis. Jameis. I'm leaving it, Shim. Listen, I mean, I love Jameis' attitude on the field, but his off the field is in question. You know, some may say, "Oh, it's a long time ago." Again, the man has got to learn from his past in Florida State and understand now you're very invested in the NFL. And again, you know, not to bring the race card in, but this is the Tim and Shim show. We say what the hell we want to say, but I'm going to be respectful. I never want to ever hear that an African American quarterback has never been surrounded with talent. Okay, this man, Mr. Jameis Winston, Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans. I mean, you have your two tight ends. One from this got drafted last year, Mr. Number 88. What the hell is his name? Is Sally in today? Is Sally in there helping? What? I mean, Shim. Excuse me one second.
Sally, 88.
Yeah, I mean, what was his name? His name
is it Braid or Howard? She says.
Yeah, Braid, there you go. And then you got.
Thank you, Sally.
Hi, Sally. You know, then you got Cameron Braid, another guy. Okay, and then the excuses get, oh well, he didn't have a running back. I mean, everybody doesn't have everything down pat, but this man has had talent, more talent than a lot of other African American quarterbacks that come along with. And you know, Shim, just to answer it, no, he will not. He will not. And it's going to be scary what the Buccaneers do if they're going to pick up his option next season. No. I'm sorry. I was just, thank you, Jason Sutton. Thank you, Mr. Sutton. Thank you.
Yeah, quick shout out to the wall. Thank you guys for tuning in. Our first lady and our CEO Trisha stopping in tonight, making a special appearance. Thank you to Quincy, making the consecutive weeks coming back. Thank you, brother, for tuning in. RD Smith coming back. I think it's like 3 weeks in a row now. Thank you, brother. Jason coming back in the mix. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you guys in the audience. You make it more fun to do this show at night, you know. So appreciate you guys giving in your input and giving us the time and devotion on your end too. So we got 3 more questions for the Bucs for the night, and this one is going to be about Ronald Jones. Is he going to be the leading rusher for all of the Buccaneers running backs? There's been rumblings in camp, though, Tim, early on about Peyton Barber getting most of the first-team reps and potentially getting the nod to start the season off. But in the same light, the Bucs went out in the second round, and they got this dude, Ronald Jones, out of USC for a reason. They've had Barber on their squad since 2016. They know exactly what they have in him as a player. So Peyton Barber may get the start, but these USC backs coming out of college, Tim, you know they usually come out starting off hot. And I could see Ronald Jones taking over the lead role very early on in the season if that's the way it's going to be set up in the running back department. If Barber gets the start, I don't think he's going to maintain that starting role for too damn long. So I'm actually going to take this.
Hey, Shim, is Quincy watching this before I answer? Because you know, I heard about him in fantasy. He's damn.
What if I said no?
Damn. Okay, I'll tell the truth. Okay, I'll tell the truth. Yes, Jim. I think Ronald Jones is going to be a stud for the Buccaneers. But I'm also rooting for Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber, just a quick history. He was homeless. His family was his mother, I believe, was homeless as well. And what I loved was that he had said when he got drafted that he's gonna buy a house, do all kind of stuff. It was awesome, and I'm rooting for the young man. And even though he may not lead the Bucs in yards, I'm hoping he's still in that mix and with that number 2 role. But yes, Ronald Jones will be the leading rusher for all the Buccaneers backs. Damn it, Quincy, I see you.
Yeah, I love that idea. No, those are the players I root for most, Tim, is the ones that get in the league and right when they get paid, they're always looking out for their family or their moms, you know, like Teddy Bridgewater did. And I believe Dak did the same thing. Deshaun Watson. It's always good to see that type of, good generosity from paying it forward from son to mom, you know, type of thing. So I like that. I like that a lot. Next one here. Let me get my images in order here. JPP. Oh, boy. GPP will have 9.5 sacks in Tampa Bay this year. He had a very roller coaster-esque career with the Giants, Tim. He flashed in his sophomore year where he had, most people forget, 16.5 sacks. And then the only other time he was in double digits was in 2014 with 12.5. So in 8 years, he has 58.5 sacks with 309 tackles. He can still play the game, but he's not effective, nor will he be effective as he once was. He can go 3 or 4 game stretches without producing a sack. And I'm thankful as a Giants fan that Gettleman was able to snake off that 4-year contract on someone else and get rid of Jerry Reese's idiotic resigning. JPP is decent enough to occupy one of the tackles himself when it comes to the trenches and give way for, you know, Gerald McCoy, Vinny Curry, Vita Vea to have some fun. But when you look at JPP as an individual going along that left side, I just don't think you look at him as a one-on-one mismatch any longer. You just can't be the same without all your fingers to get underneath those pads. I'm sorry. You're going to be affected, whether you say you're not, or, you know, it's not going to have any lingering effect on you. It absolutely will. You don't have that leverage really anymore. Leave it.
Shim, are you down with JPP? Yeah, you know me. Shim, I am taking it. Listen.
Wow.
When you look, listen, JPP, not only is he back home in Florida, okay? All right, and I've been a fan of JPP since his college days in Florida International. The man was doing cartwheel after cartwheel. I mean, he's an incredible athlete. He came back, you know, fortunately with the accident with his finger issues. But going forward, you got JPP, Gerald McCoy, okay? You got Nolan Spence, Vita Vea, Vinny Curry, Alan Bute. Great supporting cast, great depth on that line for rotation. Yes, Sim, I am taking it. This man's going to be a force this season. It's going to be a force.
You're going to make me do a money bet with you over JPP just because I cannot stand this guy now. Sam, Tim, do not make me do a $20 bet with you over JP. All right.
I'm counting. We can count him. 9.5. I'm
going to have to put it on the wall now. You're
all right. No doubt. No doubt.
Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson, will they combine for 15 touchdowns this year? The Bucs seem like they're in the same exact situation as last year. James is going to start 13 games after his 3-game suspension, and last season Evan had 5 scores, and what do you think Jackson had? 3. I can't really fathom both of those players are going to nearly double their combined touchdown scores to reach that 15 mark for this feat. I have to leave it to him. The Bucs are in for another rough season. I hate to say it. I'm sorry, Mike Ford, if you're watching. I'm sorry, man.
Well, Shim, before I'm going to say something that's not popular. I know I'm going to get some backlash for this. But combined for 15 touchdowns, only if Evans gets 12 and only 3 goes to Deshaun Jackson. That's it. That's it. Evans has to get the real bulk of it because Winston really didn't look his way. And Deshaun Jackson was going over the top so much. I hate to say this, but maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick is the best quarterback on that roster, and I think he would get the ball to this guy willingly than Jameis Winston. Oh my God, who's about to throw that at me? Seen that? But I thought I saw a shoe or something when I said Fitzpatrick. But yes, Jim, Mike Evans will have to get at least 12 touchdowns, and Deshaun gets 3, in my opinion, for that to work.
I don't see that happening. Yeah, I don't even think Mike Evans gets out of, no double digits for either of them. No, absolutely not.
Fitzpatrick is the best quarterback for the Buccaneers this season.
It could be Griffin. It could be Griffin. Griffin could be 10 times better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. We all know what we get with Ryan Fitzpatrick. We already know it could be Griffin is better than Fitzpatrick.
I forgot Ryan Griffin. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm not liking Jamie.
If I'm the Bucs GM, I'm giving the nod to Griffin over Fitzpatrick. Who wants another season of Fitzpatrick? It's just like
his last name just sounds like magic. Fitzpatrick.
It's another Jay Cutler at this point. It's a guy who's going to be like, yeah, I'm here for the team. Hurrah! Sign his deal because he's getting $10 million. Hit a cigarette on the bench like
with some bamboo, right? Some bamboo.
That's just how it is. But thank you, folks. Sorry we ran a little late tonight. It won't happen again. We promise. We're going to be on schedule 8 p.m. for the rest of the year. Thank you for your generosity and your faithfulness to the Tim and Shim show.
I'm sorry, so we forgot. 2-minute warning. I lost a bet. Of now Odell Beckham Jr. will not be a New York Giant in the future. So I lost the bet. So now next week on Tim and Shim, I have to now wear an Odell Beckham Jr. wig and an Odell Beckham Jr. shirt, and I do honor my bet. So,
Wow, is that going to be for the whole show?
You know what, Shim? It is what it is. I'm gonna have to be for the whole show. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of the his little bit dance movement and stuff like that. But yeah, but
Hercules.
I mean, Shim, I lost the bet. I have to do this. It's a shame. And these Giant fans don't forget nothing. They don't forget when you make a bet. Say, don't you always a bet? That bet was 3 years ago. Damn it. But they remember, so I gotta honor it. Yes. Tim
sounds good then. Yeah.
I will be Timdale Beck Spoon. Timdale Beck Spoon.
Junior. I like that a lot. We're gonna have you with the Malibu Most Wanted wig on next week, and we're gonna be discussing the NFC West, last division in the league, and then we finally get into Thursday night football is going to be kicked off with, I believe, the Falcons and Eagles, right? And then we should be seeing some Carsey Wentz playing. He's going to be cleared. Get out of here with that crap, Peterson. That should be fun. And then we were finally in the season, Tim. And then that next Tuesday, we can finally start off Tim and Shim, the regular season. And we'll be doing, like I said, we're going to optimize or get a little, maybe like a daily fantasy or maybe like a parlay kind of segment we should do towards the end of the shows on Tuesday nights. So maybe we'll cover some games. Tim and Shim. Maybe we'll pick 4 games out of the upcoming week schedule that we like, and you can put your damn money down and 100% guaranteed. So thank you guys. The people in the box. You guys, you know who you are. You see yourselves in the live chat. Thank you guys for stopping. And as always, we always appreciate the conversation and the comments that we get to kind of feedback off you guys with. Go back and forth, bounce off of each other. That's awesome. Going to be doing giveaways, like we said, when the regular season gets here. We can't wait to do that. Got a lot of cool stuff in store for you guys. So yeah, so if you haven't, make sure to subscribe. Takes 2 seconds. Just click that button. You'll get a notification whenever we go live or we upload a stupid ass video on behalf of us. With love, Tim and Shim. We are signing out. We'll see you knuckleheads next week. Peace.